Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Join me today for another watch review. Here I have in front of me two Heimdallr watches. They have been sent in for review. That's why you see the paid promotion in the top left corner. Needless to say, this will be an honest review. I don't think I need to mention it. Those of you guys that do subscribe know my reviews are always critical, honest and straight to the point. So what is in the boxes? Let's go ahead, have a look. Now in the boxes we have not one but two Heimdallr MM300 Homages. We have the one in stainless steel and we have the one in bronze. Now I also have a special guest appearance here. I have another black Heimdallr MM300 Homage. However, this has been sent in by a subscriber all the way from USA. Levi, you're the man. And what's special about this watch that it is running the ETA 2824 movement. This will make an appearance in the review. So I've got my work cut out for me today. I'm looking to review the stainless steel MM300 Homage and also the bronze, but I think I can get it done in a concise amount of time. Now, for those of you guys that do follow the channel know that I am a huge fan of the MM300 from Seiko. However, of course, it's a bit above the budget, let's just say at the moment. So I do love the MM300 Homages. Now, again, followers of this channel also know that I think this is the best MM300 Homage, which is made by Proxima. Ignore the dial. And you know, I've given my reasons why in plenty of videos. So there will be a follow-up review and a comparison between this and the Heimdallr. But for now, let's just stick to the topic and let's look at these two gorgeous Heimdallrs. So before we start off on wrist today, this is a creation of mine, a modded watch, but it does have a genuine samurai manta ray dial, and I've put in some sumo style hands with a yellow seconds hand. This today is by far my favorite watch, and that's the beauty of modifying watches. You can make something completely unique for yourself and enjoy it. So first off, let's have a look at the dimensions of both watches, and we look at the specifications and the available options as well as the prices of both pieces. So with the diameter, the case is 44 millimeters. It's worth noting that the case does bulge out from the center, but the bezel is just slightly smaller, so it does give you still that compact look on wrist. Thickness of the watch, 15.3 millimeters, is just under 50 mil. Now let's compare that to the bronze. Spot on 44 mil, a thickness of 15.3 and a lug to lug of 49.9. So exact same dimensions across the bronze and the stainless steel. Now the weight of the stainless steel is 206 grams and the weight of the bronze is 141. Of course, it does have the absence of the stainless steel bracelet and you just got the waffle strap. In terms of specifications, both watches are spec'd out more or less exactly the same, with the obvious difference of the bronze one. Obviously the case is made out of aluminium infused bronze. You have two versions of bronze. You have the lighter golder looking aluminium mixed with bronze, and then you've got the darker copper mixed. So I do like both. You know, I've got one of each in my personal collection anyway. And so just to run through the specifications: double dome, AR coated, sapphire crystals. Both watches use a Seiko Epson NH35 movement, which by now we know the ins and outs. They also both have 120 click unidirectional bezels. The one on my right, full 316L stainless steel case construction, bezel, bracelet, crown, etc. And both watches are a complete monoblock case construction, which means they are crafted or machined out of a solid piece of brass on the left and a solid piece of stainless steel. Both watches do offer 300 meters of water resistance, but as always, like I say, it's a homage watch. Treat the water resistance also as a homage. You know, unless they can prove it has been tested, you know, you don't have that official sign off. However, it is speculative whether or not these watches will actually hold up to the claimed water resistance. So options and prices. So let's cover all the options that are available on this style of MM300. I think it's the version 3 Sharkmaster from Heimdallr. So you get two options. You get the black dial, which I have in front of me here. And then you also get a green dial version here with the green ceramic bezel insert. Now you have two options of bracelets. You've got this faux 3-link bracelet that you can see in front of me, which is quite similar to the one used on the actual Seiko Marine Master 300. And you also have a 5-link bracelet, or the Jubilee style of bracelet, available with pressed clasps. That will add $10 to the overall price. Now you also have two bezel insert options. You have a, let's bring this one here. This is a curved bezel, so ignore the curvature, but you have a flat lume pip, triangular lume pip available, and you also have one with a raised button style lume pip. Now the price is $180, which is about £130 for us guys in the UK. And then going on to the bronze, you have a few more color options. When I say few, one more. So you have the black dial version, you've got the green dial version, and a blue dial version. I'll put up the pictures of the green and blue on screen now. I think those two versions look incredible. I like how Heimdallr have done the coloring. So you've got a green dial with a silver chapter ring and a green bezel, and you've got a blue dial with a silver chapter ring and a blue bezel insert, and you also have gilt outlines on the bronze one, which you don't have on the stainless steel one. Now I think that color combination of blue, gilt, silver on green, and the green, sorry, gilt and silver, I think it looks fantastic, you know, all put together with the bronze. And you also get two strap options, waffle strap and leather strap. I don't think you have any more bezel insert options aside from the colors to match the dials, of course. And I think the bronze ones do look quite special in their own right. Price wise, again, $180 and £130. So there is no price difference between these two. No doubt Aliexpress resellers have had an impact on the pricing of these Heimdallrs, which as consumers is great news, right? Not so much for Heimdallr themselves, but they don't help themselves by selling a ton load of Heimdallr watches to all those Aliexpress sellers, and then not think that it is gonna affect them somehow. So if you're not aware, I did a video on it. The official store I will link within the description. I'll also use some AliExpress links. You know, Heimdallr official store does not recognize the resellers on AliExpress. However, AliExpress will protect you by the, you know, refund system and return system. So go about it however you want. That's up to you entirely. At this point, I want to bring in this black Heimdallr MM300. I don't think this is version 3. This might be an older version, perhaps version 1 or version 2. One indicator is, of course, this does not come with a milled clasp. It comes with a stamped clasp. Now, the second thing is, as mentioned, this does run the ETA 2824 movement. And back, if you have followed Heimdallr and you're quite familiar with them, you'll know they did release a ST2130 Seagull Chinese-made high beat movement option as well. And then they also released a ETA 2824 movement. They've also followed suit in the 6105 Turtle Homages that they do as well. Sorry, Captain Willard. But these are discontinued now. You can't see them on the site. And from what I gather, I think the ST2130s were a bit problematic and they were a bit more difficult to resolve. As we know, NH35s, you know, this is their forte. The reason you get an NH35 is strong, reliable, and very, very cheap to replace. And I'm guessing with the ETA 2824, it would have set you back a pretty penny, around the £250, £300 mark, possibly. But yeah, you can no longer get the different movement options, which is a shame. But you know, let's see if they pick that back up or not. So that was a lot of information, 8.5 minutes in, and we still haven't even looked at the watch closely. But hey, at least you can't say the reviews aren't thorough enough. So on the dial, yes, it's a very traditional MM300 style of dial. We have seen this dial on plenty of watches. So to run you through it, you have a sunburst sunray green dial. I love the depth of that green and how you can see the darkness and how the sun rays spread that light out. Now the dial itself, you have applied shark logo just below the 12, printed text above the 6. Yes, it is a bit naughty of them to put the text Marine Master Automatic Professional 300 meters. As we know, a lot of homage brands are actually going away from that. And then you've got applied hour markers, the dual baton at the 12 and circular batons all around, and a singular baton at the 6 and the 9. You do have a frame around the date window, which I always like. I like the date window to stand out. You've got a chapter ring, color matched with the dial also. And you've also got these really nice top quality hands. Now I've said it before, as I have taken apart a few Heimdallr watches, They use really good quality dials, and they use really well-made handsets. Now, how do you know if a handset is good quality or not? And we're not talking about the Lume. We're talking about the amount of detail that goes into the production of the hands. So let's bring your attention to the finishing. I don't see it through too well on the camera, but when it catches light, you can see the edges of the hour and the minute hand do have this chamfered and polished sides, and then you've got linear brushing that goes across the handset. Now, that does give depth to the hands. You know, you can see it only when you see it in person, and that's how you differentiate between those flat hands with not much going on, and then you see this really nice machining present on these hands. Of course, MM300 style seconds hand, and you know, looking down at the camera, I'm well aware that you can see a slightly different shade of green. However, in hand, the shade is a bit closer to the dial, and it's not as pale as it looks on camera, and it's a bit more of a forest green, if that's the right color. So, you know, the detail on the hands dial, very, very good. Also, the sapphire crystal, you'll notice it is air coated, but it's not like we see on the Proxima or on the steel dives where there's just too much air coating and all you see is this blue glare across the dial. No, this is subtle enough and visible enough on certain angles, but straight ahead you don't see the AR glare getting in the way of the view. So it's a quick look at the black dial. Same obviously hour markers as the one on the stainless steel version, but you do have this, you know, dull black dial present. Now, moving on to the bronze one, I'm starting to like this one a bit more than the stainless steel one, because I think it's just a bit different. You know, those MM300 style of dials do now bore me, but we can see different hour markers. I have seen this on a Seiko watch before, but I'm not too sure. If anybody does know where these hour markers are from, then let me know in the comment section below. But you've got a dual marker at the 12, singular at the 9 and the 6, and you've got circular indices. Now, looking at the dial, as mentioned, it is gilt, so you've got gilt polished frames around the applied hour markers. You've got a gilt frame around the date window, and of course the text is also in gold, and same with the applied shark logo. Now, same setup as the stainless steel one, but the handset used on this watch are absolutely incredible. Again, going back to that top quality of hands used. So you've got a button top seconds hand, and just pay attention, look how far that seconds hand stretches, that needle-like seconds hand. I think that is a very nice hand to look at. Now, looking at the hour and the minute, same sort of detail, same sort of machining. You can see that polished chamfered edges to either side, and you got this brushing down the center. So very high quality handsets used, and for the price that they are giving these watches in, it does give you incredible value for money. Same with the AR coated on this sapphire crystal, it's not overpowering, and the bezel insert, you know, it is pretty yellow, the text. I'd prefer it to be a bit more golden or a bit more bronze, but this is more yellow than it is bronze or golden. Lume shot. Now, Heimdallr were the first brand that I saw which had incredible lume, and they have not failed since the first watches, the SKX007 homages and the Turtle homages, etc. And you know, as you can see, Swiss Super Luminova applied through and through, multiple layers, very, very bright, great longevity as well. And just look at the pip at the 12 as well, equally bright. Now, the one I'm going to show you now is the bronze. So you've got the illuminated triangular pip. Again, look how sharp that lume is. It shows everything, and it will last quite a long time. Now, this is just with the LED lights in the room that I'm recording in, so there has been no UV lamp applied to these watches, and just look how bright they are. That always gives me a good indicator of how good lume is on a watch. So, but if you want an example with the UV light, let's give them a quick charge and just check that out. Super, super bright, absolute lighthouses. Now for the functionality test, let's check the 120 click unidirectional rotating bezel. So let's start off with the V3 Shockmaster first. So the motion is fluid, as you can hear it as well. It sounds fluid as well. You can feel it, there is tactile, but it does feel a bit light in hand. Like it's not as thick as I'd like, or it's not as dense. Let's check alignment. Slightly misaligned, but there is just a tiny bit of backplay which you can use to your advantage to align the bezel, of course. But yeah, it does feel just a touch loose. Let's show you the older one. So this is a much different action. Now I have taken this apart, and this older version used the Seiko click spring style where you had the 2 pins on either end. And you know what, it is okay. There is a touch bit of bounce to it. Now I have read in some comments, some feedback on these MM300s from Heimdallr that a few people have had the bezels come off quite easily. As mentioned, they do feel quite thin in hand. So this is the old click spring style. This for sure is the spring wire that you've seen in my previous videos, and that is why you get a bit of backplay. Now the bronze, let's check the bronze out. So the bronze bezel, as you can hear, is a lot more subtle sound. It sounds quite deadened, which I don't mind. You know, it's not always about really tinny loud clicks. The rotation, I think, on the bronze is a lot better, which is surprising due to the fact that it is bronze and the bezel rotations do change depending on how much the watch has patinaed over time. Accuracy is good, alignment is good, but yeah, and there's no backplay as well. So maybe they've used something different to hold this bezel down. I've not opened this, so I couldn't tell you. But the bezels are okay, right? I mean, consistency is going to be an issue just looking at these 3 in hand. As with most bezels, to be absolutely honest, no 2 bezels, or rarely do they function the exact same. But as it is, I think the bezels are a very good standard. Let's go ahead and pay close attention to the actual case. Now this is a very, very nice case to look at. As you can see down the lugs, you do have linear brushing, very, very fine brushing. Very fine. You can barely see the lines. And you turn the watch on its side, then you've got, I think, one of the things which is most unique to this MM300 case is you've got the polished edges which go around the flanks of the watch, and they also come around across the lugs. And then you've got this brushed line that goes straight across, and it does a little curve in the center, and then followed up with, again, mirror polished sides of the case, and then a linear brushed case back. So I really do love the detailing. And here's a note for everyone asking the question: Steel Dive, Proxima, Heimdallr, they do all seem to have the same case, but when I do the comparison, we'll look at that in a lot more detail. So the case, of course, does also come with drill lugs, which makes changing straps an absolute breeze, and that's how it should be. But a very iconic case shape. Just love that detailing present. This one's a bit less damaged, so let's have a look at this one. Absolute mirror-like polish. Very, very well done. And the brushing is superb as well. The crown, thick crown, very well made, solid as anything. So no signage on the case back, as you saw. No signage on the older one as well. And there's no signage on the crown, which for me, it doesn't devalue the watch, or nor does it add any value, in my honest opinion. It is what it is. I'm not fussed either or. Right, let's go have a look at the bronze. So the same characteristics, of course, but you don't get that same shine. So you got, again, linear brushing down to the lug tips, and then you've got what would have been a polished surface, and then brushing down the center along the side of the watch, and then again it would have been polished. But I really do like how this bronze does patina. The closer you look at it, it sort of like crystallizes almost, and it does really have a really nice matte finish. Very, very smooth. Same drill lugs, exact same crown, but of course in bronze. Crown sits within the case nicely as well, so I like that. It's a very good feature. You know, it is a bit of a big watch, so it is nice when you can see some contouring, or you can see how the crown does tuck itself into the case just sort of help that thick profile. As I mentioned, the middle of the case is a bit wider, and you can see how the bezel is a bit smaller, and that's Seiko's trick. This is what I love about Seiko watches, where they make big watches where small. You'll see later on when I put this on the wrist. So you can see how the case bulges to the center, and then it comes just slightly narrower to give you a much better profile. Still is quite thick, but that is expected with this MM300 Homage. Moving on to bracelets, let's have a look. So the bracelet overall, you know, it's the same bracelet that you see on the Proxima also. I think it's similar to the Steel Dive one, but these feel a bit better than the Steel Dive one. Solid end links, absolutely solid. And you've got these faux triple links where it's actually just one solid block, but because of the polished lines that you see here, it gives the appearance that is a 3-link design. I feel these links are just a touch long. They're a bit long. Stamped glass on the older one, but on the newer one, so let's take this off. Oh no, I am lazy, I don't remove these if I don't need to. Then yeah, so we've got the Heimdallr stamped shark here, fully milled clasp, stainless steel, and then there we go. The exact same finishing. It is actually a good bracelet, it's got good quality. However, as I said, it's just the links are just a bit too long for me, but they are closest to the MM300 from Seiko. 20mm lug width, which just tapered down to 18mm at the clasp. Now, of course, with the bronze, we don't have a bracelet option, but we do have this really nice waffle strap, which, you know, by now we all know how good they are. And the leather strap, to be honest, the leather strap does not look all that in the pictures. And you might be better off getting a worn, waxy style leather strap or a different kind of silicone strap, which I think this watch will look fantastic on. Time for the wrist shot. Let's see how it looks on this massive 6.5-inch wrist. That's a stunner. That is my absolute favorite watch to date. 1, 2, check it out, double strapping today. And there we go on the wrist. My wrist is 6.5 inches. Now it is surprising how good they actually look. You know, for too long I've stayed away from bigger watches because, you know, you read stuff on the internet and you've got fashionistas telling you that what you can wear, what you can't wear, and oh no, that wrist size doesn't suit. So look, it might look a bit bigger, but the lug to lug 50mm spot on for the 6.5-inch wrist. 44mm case, not a problem. Due to the fact of the bezel just being a touch smaller than the case, it wears, in my opinion, incredibly well. Yes, it is a bit thick, but you know, it's a monoblock case. It's meant to wear big, it's meant to wear thick. And I think, you know what, don't let your wrist size dictate what you guys can and cannot enjoy. If you want to wear a 60mm watch which is 85mm thick, you know what, it's your wrist, do what you like. But even I think the bronze on the black waffle, there's a certain appeal to it for me anyway. You know, the gilt, gold and black just looks really good. And again, 6.5-inch wrist bronze looks actually really nice. Fits good as well, as long as you size it correctly. You know, use a micro adjust if you need to. Look, snug fit. That's how I like to wear my watches anyway. And it looks absolutely fine. So if you think it's too big for your wrist, you're wrong, it will fit. So I think I've covered everything, and you know, I think I've done it in pretty good time as well, don't you guys think, compared to my usual reviews. So one point I do want to make here is this handset was used on this MM300 bronze a good while ago, and then after that I noticed San Martin came in with the SRP 777 Homage, and they use the exact same handset. Now that got me thinking, I think there is a link somewhere there, and as I mentioned, these cases are just too similar, you know, to be a coincidence or to come out of different factories. I do believe Proxima, Steel Dive, Heimdallr, I believe they're getting from the same place. I can't imagine there's multiple factories doing them to the exact same quality, exact same finish, exact same dimensions. And the only main difference is between the, you know, the actual part that functions, the mechanical part, the rotation, and the mechanisms that are within the watch. So I'll cover that in detail when I do the comparison between this and my Proxima. But as it stands, you know what, it is a very well built watch. As I mentioned, the dial and the hands are really top quality. As far as the bezel rotation goes, it's gonna be, it might be a hit or miss, to be honest. You know, this is the older bezel, so you shouldn't get this. All right, and you know, the one on the V3 is okay. It just feels a bit light for me, but I would happily wear this and there'll be no issue. I can really live with this bezel, but as mentioned, just a slight bit of back play. The bronze bezel is a lot better, and you know, they do really well with bronze bezels. They don't always function the way they're supposed to, but that's nice, you know, it works and it is accurate. Price, you know, they've come down quite a bit. I remember back these watches were a bit more. They were around the £150, 180. Now they've come down to £130, which makes it extremely affordable. Puts it right in front of Steel Dive, puts it in line with Proxima as they've come out as well. So that's why I'm doing this comparison or these reviews, because it is going to be a tough choice. So hold fire for the comparison with my lovely Proxima over here, and if you need some assistance to make the choice, basically. So that's it for this review. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.